Namaskar. Welcome to this session on how to score 100 plus in CTET 2021 with free guidance by Dr. Yakaiah Team. Are you a teacher educator or a teacher guiding other colleagues or friends who are preparing for CTET 2021? Or you have some questions how to secure 100 plus marks in upcoming CTET 2021 exam? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, you're most welcome to a free session at 7 p.m. tomorrow, that's 1st November 2021, live to be continued on YouTube. So I'll be sharing the links below this. If you are interested, please do join the live session and join one of the WhatsApp groups related to this, where I'll be sending the links related to this. Dear friends and colleagues, thank you for giving your time and taking interest in guiding students and the learners and the aspiring teachers in successfully clearing their CTET. As you are aware, unlike the good old days, these days it is not like once the child gets D.Ed or B.Ed, a teaching degree, it's done, he's going to get teacher job or get married and settled in life. Days have changed. They have to clear the CTET and then go through the TRT or other teacher recruiting exams and agencies. So as a part of my social responsibility, on the occasion of my 25 years of teaching experience, I have dedicated this season for guiding CTET aspirants freely. Yes, you heard right. It's 100% free. No hidden charges, 100 hours of guidance at the rate of 2 hours plus a day for the coming 45 days, starting that's tomorrow, the 1st November 2021 at 7 p.m. So I invite you to share this to the people who are concerned, or if you can make some time and join us live and witness what it is, and thereafter you share to your wards, friends, and the aspiring teachers, it will be great. I am offering this program free of cost under Inspiring Teachers program. I believe in inspire teachers and you can transform the world. With these words, I invite you and take leave of you. Thank you so much. Dr. Yakaiah, teacher educator by profession, inspiring teachers and researchers is my passion. See you tomorrow live at 7 p.m. That's 1st November 2021, YouTube live on my channel, YAKAIAHPODUPUGANTI.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening at whatever time you are viewing this session. And welcome back to Science Pedagogy CTET Guidance from Dr. Yakaiah and Team. Here I am Dr. Hafiz, and I'm going to start with the session today. And here is your the first slide. It says about the content and the pedagogical issues of your science syllabus, and we have already seen this yesterday in the introductory part. So we are going to start the first session here with the first topic, nature and structure of sciences. Okay, so here the first here is what exactly is the meaning of science. So we should first see the definitions of science, the meaning of science. Okay, so here the science as a discipline, and the word science is taken from a Latin word scientia, which means knowledge or to know. It means that it is knowledge. It means knowledge. Scientia means knowledge. It is to know something. Then we have a definition from Rene Descartes. It said that science is a method of investigating nature that discovers reliable knowledge about it. So it is a method of investigating nature that discovers reliable knowledge about it. So reliable is something that we trustworthy, and we are trying to investigate the different aspects of nature and trying to understand what nature is all about. Einstein defined science is an attempt to make the chaotic diversity of our sense of experience correspond to logically uniform system of thought. Okay, so here it is like an attempt to make the chaotic diversity of our sense experience. So whatever sense our experience is, and we are making an attempt to understand and make it into diverse categories, on categorizations, then we are trying to logical uniform correspond it to a logical uniform system of thought. We are trying to make it into a uniform system. Whatever a diversity we are having in our nature, we are just making into uniform system of thought. So this is what Einstein defined science as. And we have here Fitzpatrick in the year 1960 defined science as a cumulative and endless series of empirical observations which result in the formulation of concepts and theories, with both concepts and theories being subject to modification in the light of further empirical observations. So science is a body of knowledge and process of acquiring and refining knowledge. Okay, so it is nothing but it is like an empirical observations. It is an endless series of such experimentations and the processes, and it is about the formulation of concepts and theories, and these concepts of theories are again subjected in the light of further empirical observations. So combinedly, we can say that it is a body of knowledge as well as it is a body of processes of acquiring and refining knowledge. Next, we have here J. Bronsky. He defined science as the organization of our knowledge in a way that it commands or makes possible the explanation of the hidden potentialities found in the environment. So this is what is the Bronsky definition. And then Conant, an interconnected series of concepts and conceptual schemes that have developed as a result of experimentation and observation and are fruitful for further experimentation and observation. Conant has said that it is an interconnected series of concepts and conceptual schemes that have developed as a result of experimentation and observation. So these concepts have come out from the experimentation and observation, and they are fruitful of further experimentation and observation. So they are again subjected to further experimentation and observation. Okay, we are going to see the next definitions. Now here we have Henry Huxley defined science as simply as a common sense at its best, that is rigidly accurate in observation and method to fallacy in logic. We have here the next definition by Thomas Hobbes. Science is the knowledge of consequences and dependence of one fact upon other. So here we are trying to understand what different definitions have been given by different authors and different scientists, and mostly they have said about in each of the definition there is something related to the body of knowledge and then to the matter of experimentation. Like Huxley has defined science as a common sense at its best and rigidly accurate in observation and method of to fallacy in logic. So it is about the logic, it is about the observation, and we are just simply applying our common sense, which is more accurate in its observation, its processes. Then Hobbes has defined science as the knowledge of consequences and dependence of one fact upon another. So there are many facts and it is again interdependent. So the facts of science and the knowledge of science has its own consequences and they're interdependent. Okay, here we have the Galileo Galilei has been called the father of observational astronomy, the father of modern physics, and the father of the scientific method, and the father of modern science. Okay, we are going to see the next thing. Here we are with the characteristics of science and what exactly means with the nature of science. So science is a discipline, has its own nature, it has its own characteristics. So what exactly could be understood by this? The first point we will see is science is a process as well as product. So science is a process, it is a product, means it is a process, ongoing process of going with the experimentations, observations, and we are doing a lot of empirical evidences, we are gathering it, and then we are trying to produce something in a form of a knowledge or in the form of a product or anything that we are trying to produce it. So science is a process as well as a product. It is both a process, it is also a product, because from science only we get lots of new products, and from science only we get to the invention, we get to a particular process where we are again trying to invent more products. Second is scientific knowledge is durable. Durable in the sense is it is not going to get mixed with something, or It is something which is more durable. It carries on and on. It is not going to get mixed up with some thing, or it is not going to get invisible. It is there, and it is durable. It is going to be get validated, and it is a valid knowledge which is being there ever and ever. So here scientific knowledge is more durable. It is going to be there ever and ever, and it is something which we can rely upon. It is a valid knowledge, and it is going to be used for more and more generations. Third is scientific knowledge is based on inquiry. So here inquiry is investigation. We are trying to investigate, we are going to inquire. It is going to be in depth research. It is going to be going on and on, moving deeply into the different layers, and that is what scientific knowledge is all about. It is based upon inquiry. Until unless we don't do any inquiry or any kind of investigation, we are not going to come out with the new knowledge. So it is an investigation in depth about how things goes on, how things work, and how it happens. Okay. Then fourth is science is based on scientific methodology. Yes, science is based on scientific methodology, where a method is applied in a scientific manner, where we are coming out with different forms of knowledge, with different forms of products and different processes. So here scientific methodology is extremely important. How scientific method goes on in trying to understand the problem, then we are trying to locate the different causes of it, find out what is causing a particular problem, and then gathering the data from the nature or the environment, and then coming out with the conclusion, testing it, each and every data which we have gathered, and trying to test it. And that is what is, the different steps in a general way I'm just telling. So these are the different kind of scientific method that we apply. So science is completely based on scientific methodology. Until unless we don't follow a particular steps of scientific method, we won't come out with a particular knowledge. Next, fifth is scientific knowledge is based on evidence. Yes, it requires evidence. It requires proof, like what is actually the consequence of it, what has affected, what is the cause of the particular phenomena. So we are trying to see to that how evidences are collected, and based upon the evidence we are trying to form a scientific knowledge. And sixth is science is a blend of logic and imagination. So science is both a blend, it is a mixture of logic and imagination. So we are applying our logic. We are trying to see to it that how best we are analyzing the things. We are trying to see to it that what is the logical base of this particular data or the phenomena or the concept, and then we are just adding our own imagination. It would be like this, it would have been like this. So we are just trying to see that how best these logical and imagination work together, and it is a blend of logic and imagination. So science is a blend of logic and imagination. Seventh is science explains and also predicts. Science explains and it also predicts. It explains the phenomena, it explains the occurrences or the situations, and it predicts the future occurrences. So it explains that yes, this is going to happen, this is what has happened, and it would be leading to such kind of a prediction. So like for example, here we can say that a different phenomena has been there, and so what happens of this. So they will try to predict the different causes of a particular disease, or different causes of particular different phenomena or different concepts. So we are trying to see to it that how science explains the different phenomena, the different laws or different facts, and how it science is an enterprise where it is something that it is now having a social value to it. It is having its own economic value, where science is now used everywhere. It is used in the institutions, it is now in organizations, like it has again divided into different fields, like applied sciences organizations, we have allied sciences organizations, and different fields are there, like biotechnology is there, agriculture and veterinary sciences are there, we have different medical sciences. Okay, so different, and it's having its own social value, where people are trying to go on doing research in the vast body of science. Next, we are going to see other more nature and the characteristics of science. So the first here is again, science is a particular way of looking at nature. So according to NCRT, it has been said that science is a particular way of looking at nature. So when you look at nature, when you see the beauty of nature, you see that how this has been, why the leaves are green and why the flowers are multicolored, why they have different colorful flowers available in nature. So science is a particular way of looking at nature, why such streams are flowing in one direction, one or in the other direction, how the streams are forming its own way when it flows on the surface. So it is all about the ecosystem, how we are looking at nature, how, what are we looking at, are we having a curiosity in our minds when we look at the nature. This is all about the way of looking at nature. Next, science is a rapidly expanding body of nature, a body of knowledge. So science is a rapidly expanding body of knowledge because many scientists all over the world, they are going on doing some or the other kind of experiments here and there, and they're trying to come out with their own knowledge. New empirical knowledge has been produced everywhere. So science is a rapidly expanding body of knowledge because many things, many researchers, many scientists are developing their own knowledge based upon the evidences, based upon the empirical evidences, and then they are trying to add on to the vast body of scientific knowledge. Science is an interdisciplinary area of learning. Yes, it is an interdisciplinary area of learning where science is again like it is interdisciplinary, where it is used into one discipline and again it is moving into another discipline as well. Like the science is not just standing alone, it is not just an independent body where it has its own kind of concepts, but it is also expanding its like a tentacles in different disciplines as well. Like we have engineering sciences, we have here the different multidisciplinary, like we have technology, we have integrated into its science, like data science, we have artificial intelligence, we have biotechnology. So different ways we are trying to see to that how best the knowledge of science is applicable in different fields, and how we are using the processes and the base of science in different disciplines in trying to understand it and in trying to make it into a proper way of a proper way of approaching a particular subject. Now previously, for example, I must say here, like previously we used to term social as social studies, but today we are terming it as social sciences because it also have its own implications in social. So the social studies has now turned into social sciences. So that is where there is an applicability of scientific approaches into studying the social phenomena. Now the fourth one here is science is a truly international enterprise. Yes, as we have a national enterprise, it's also an international enterprise where different organizations, scientific institutions, and the different bodies of science are together trying to do some kind of a research, and they're applying their research. So like in the phenomena of this COVID-19, so different international bodies have tried to do experiments, and now they're doing some kind of testing their vaccines on different populations. So it is something like an international enterprise. So scientific knowledge or science is subject where it is a truly international enterprise, and it is used at everywhere. It is used and all over the world, where students, researchers, and scientists are trying to make it more and more empirically their knowledge, and it is being tested, and it is being available to the public in the form of new knowledge, and is being published. Now the fifth one is science is always tentative. Yes, science is always tentative. It is like we have here like a tentative situation, like we are trying to see to it that how best science it gives an assumption. It is always an assumption that this must be the probable answer, or this must be some kind of the solution to it. So we always try to test and retest and test and retest, where it shows that science is always tentative. It's not like a fixed, it is always subject to do some kind of analysis and experiment. It has an scope of going on doing some kind of probabilities, and have its own subjects where it can be going on for the empirical observations, and it is keeping on getting testing and testing with different approaches and different methods, where it is always tentative. We can try to make it more and more observe with different observations and with different experimentations. We can just try to make it more and more experimentative. So science is always tentative. Sixth is science promotes skepticism. Scientists are highly skeptic people. Yes, science promotes skepticism, means it is something like it gives an idea that this must be or this must be not. So it is like scientists are always highly skeptic people, where they are always in a dilemma. They are always in some kind of confusion, and some kind of having some doubt always, that yes, maybe this may work, or maybe this might not work. So they are always in a doubt that this might be the probable cause. So always science promotes skepticism in the scientists, and they're also skeptic people, where they want to prove their doubt and they want to clarify their doubts, that yes, if it is really doubts are really the authentic reasons behind their understanding and the cause of the phenomena. Then seventh is science demands perseverance from its practitioners. Yes, perseverance from its practitioners. Always science is having a kind of characteristics and a nature where they have to always remain in a position where they do not have to hurry up. They have to just be more and more patience in trying to test their knowledge. And those people like the scientists, the researchers, and the practitioners of science, definitely they have to have the perseverance. They have to have the perseverance, the determination, the dedication, the patience of trying to do what they are really wanting to do, or what they are doing on a particular project. So science definitely demands perseverance from its practitioners. Then 8 is science is an approach to investigation as a process of constructing knowledge. Yes, it is an approach of investigation. It tries to investigate, and it is as a process of constructing knowledge. Yes, because once it is investigating into any phenomena, definitely it is a process of constructing a knowledge. Once we investigate into any phenomena, we come out with a particular construction of a particular new knowledge. So always investigation leads to new knowledge. So this is the different structure, or we can say the different nature of science and the characteristics of the science. Then next we're going to see here the Guide to Science Teaching by Lacey has suggested some principles, and this is also included into the nature of science. And the first principle of science teaching, or the principle of science, we can say, is the principle of causality. So the principle of causality here, it says that it is having a belief in cause and effect relationship. So always there is a principle of causality, that something has caused this phenomena to be like this. If the rocks has been prepared or have such a structure, then why it has? If the volcanoes are evolving from the volcanic mountains, then there is some kind of a cause for that. What is the cause, or what is the reason behind that to have such a phenomena? For waterfalls, or for some kind of other ecosystems happenings in our nature. So there is always a cause and effect relationship. Something is causing and that is affecting it. So what is causing and what is affecting it? So there is always a cause and effect relationship. So that is the principle of causality. So always science has the principle of causality. Next is the principle of consistency. It means that when two sets of conditions are same consequences are expected. Like when two sets of conditions are same, like when you plant saplings of the same size and the same type, then obviously you will be getting the same type of plants, or the same type of bushes. So here, that is what the two sets of conditions, if they are same, obviously the consequences or the result of it will also be the same. So that is the principle of consistency. Then here in the consistency also says that when the conditions remains the same, it gives the same effect. It gives the same effect, whether it is in experiment or whether it is in the nature, like in vitro or in vivo. Okay. Then we have the third one, that is principle of continuous discovery. So the principle of continuous discovery says here that it is going on unfolding the laws of nature till we completely understand the universe. And when we till this understanding of universe is reached, a complete understanding of universe is reached, so we are going on unfolding the laws of nature. We are trying to discover new things. We are trying to see that what is beyond this universe. Like we are moving into galaxies, we are trying to discover the different planets. We are going to different moons of the planets. So here we are just trying to unfold the mystery of nature. And when till we try to understand the whole universe, we are continuously we are discovering new things, new facts each and every day. So that is the principle of continuous discovery. Next is the principle of dynamism. Yes, nature is dynamic. It is not a still. It is not stationary. It is just dynamic, moving on and on. So one thing happens today, next day, something happens next. So we are trying to see to it that how best we are trying to understand each phenomena and why it has happened, what is the cause of it that it has happened. So nature is dynamic, ever changing. It is ever evolving and it is ever changing, where we are trying to understand the dynamism of the nature by doing the experiments and by trying to observe the nature. And fifth is the principle of objectivity. The principle of objectivity says here it is the ability to examine facts and suspend judgment. So objectivity is like we are trying to examine the different facts. We're trying to examine the knowledge, or like with the help of the empirical evidences, we are trying to examine it, like why this has happened. Is this the cause of it, or any other cause of it? So we are trying to see that we are trying to examine the different facts, and we are suspending the judgment. Suspend judgment in the sense like we are trying to see that we are not going to give direct judgment, like this is because of this. You're not going to say directly that this has happened. We are trying to observe it. We are trying to experiment it, and then with the help of our objectivity, that when we find out that yes, this is the real cause of it, then only we are trying to give a particular judgment, or we can say that this is the relevant cause of a particular effect. So this is the principle of objectivity. Next, we are going to see the nature of science. Yes, as here it is mentioned that science is an amalgamation of observation, identification, description, experimentation, investigation, and theoretical explanation, and is entirely based on truth. So science is an amalgamation. It's a mixture. It is a complete. It comprises of observation, identification, description, in experimentation, investigation, and the theoretical explanation, and it is based upon truth, where we have all these skills: observation, identification, description, experimentation, investigation, and explanation. All these are skills which we use in the process in building the knowledge of science. Now here Joseph Schwab in the year 1964 and Brulan in 1962 contributed the structure of science as substantive and syntactic structure, where substantive structure is the most of it is related to the theoretical base of science, which includes different classes of definitions, facts, knowledge, statements, observation statements, concepts, theory statements, generalizations, and such other related aspects. And on the other hand, syntactic structure is the practical base of science, and which is concerned with the processes of scientific inquiry, methods, strategies, approaches, and through which we try to build up new knowledge. So this is what is about the substantive and syntactic structure of science. Let us move further. Now, if we see the structure of science one by one, that is the substantive structure, that is the body of knowledge. It is nothing but the theoretical body of knowledge, and it consists of 5 important things. That is, the first one is the facts. So the facts is nothing but it is known to be true or accepted as true. So facts are known to be true. They are accepted as true, like a fish lives in water. So it's like it is a fact. So we cannot deny it. Okay, so this is what, so man lives both on land and can both live and survive in land as well as water. So this is something like frog is an amphibian animal. So this is something like it's a fact. It is a fact, and it is accepted to be true all over. It's a universal exception. It's universal truth. That is a fact. Then concepts. It is a generalized idea suggested to the individual by object, symbol, or situation. So concepts are there. So from the facts, we try to go on with having the different concepts. Okay, we try to see that different concepts are there, like the solar system, and all the planets revolve around the sun. So this is something like a concept we are trying to build up. And then we have the theory, the third thing, a proposed explanation of a set of conditions or events, unproved but usually supported by strong evidences. So once we develop theories from the facts and concepts, we try to put in it into the strong evidences. We try to see that there is a support of a strong evidences, and then we try to prove it something with some evidences. That is nothing but a proposed explanation is called as a theory. So we have different theories in science. So that is nothing but we are having like a cell theory we are having, and different theories we are having in science. So that is what it explains a particular set of conditions, and it's a proposed explanation which is proved and which is supported by evidences which has been done with lot of experimentations. Then we have law. A scientific law is generally defined as a theory which has been exhaustively tested and found to be valid, with few or no exceptional cases. So here, a scientific law is generally defined as a theory. So it has now, the theory has become a law, and which has been exhaustively tested. So much of testing has been done, and then it is found to be valid with very few or no exceptional cases. Then it has become a law. So we have different scientific laws, and different laws are there. Like we have the law of segregation. We have law of this different the different laws of science. In physical sciences we have the laws. So all these laws has been subjected to an exhaustive experimentation, and then only we have tried to build up a law. Then finally we have here the generalizations. So generalizations are helpful in driving conclusions from scientific facts, concepts, theories, and laws. So we try to just generalize. Yes, this is a generalization. It is a universal exception, and it can be a derived conclusion that from all these experiments and from the scientific facts, concepts, theories, and laws, this is the general idea. So the law of gravity. So we say the law of gravity. So if you throw something up, obviously everything will come down to the land. So it's a law of gravity. It's a general thing. When something goes up, it won't remain in the air for a longer time. It just again comes down. So that is the generalization. It's a general thing. So that is what is generalizations here. So all this becomes the body of knowledge, that is facts, concepts, theory, law, and generalizations. Now moving to the syntactic structure of science, it again involves the scientific inquiry, scientific process, and attitudes of scientific inquiry. So here we have attitudes of science. We have here scientific inquiry we have. So scientific inquiry, what is exactly the meaning of scientific inquiry is we are trying to investigate in depth. Scientific process, what method and what approaches that we have applied to investigate, and attitudes of scientific inquiry, what attitudes we have built. So this is the syntactic structure. It again comprises of methods, second is processes, third is attitudes, fourth is experiment, and fifth is inference. So first is the method. In the method, we usually use different methods, different approaches in trying to come out with the scientific knowledge. So scientific inquiry, if we want to investigate, what method if we are using, what approach we are using to investigate into a particular phenomena, into a particular issue of nature. Then we have the processes here, like it again has basic processes and integrated processes. So the basic processes involves the basic the skills of science, like observation, experimentation, and to just record and to report. So all these are the basic processes which we do, and the integrated process is nothing but the more authentic, more scientific approach which we use, and it is again interdisciplinary. It can be again interdisciplinary, where we are trying to understand a major issue with an interdisciplinary kind of approach, and we are trying to integrate the different processes in trying to understand the scientific knowledge. So this is nothing but called as integrated process, where more research, thorough research is applied, thorough research is being done to understand a particular phenomena. So basic processes of science are just observation and experimentation, some demonstrations, but the integrated process is trying to integrate few more advanced processes, where we are trying to understand the phenomena of the science. Okay, so this is the processes. Then next, third, we have the attitudes. So attitudes, what type of attitudes do a person develop once they understand the processes of science? The first is the curiosity. Yes, we have always are curious why this happens, why the sky is blue, why the water is again blue, how it is reflecting, and like why do we always stick to land, why can't we fly? So all this is something like a curiosity. Humility, that is, humility is again humaneness, and being more having a humane nature. Skepticism, always we have a doubt that yes, whether this is the right cause or whether something else is the right cause for a particular effect. So we are the scientists are always having a skeptic attitude, like they always trying to prove their doubts, and they always try to do some experiments based upon their probable thinking, their tentative thinking, and their kind of assumptions, I must say. Then flexibility, yes, there is also always a flexibility attitude, where we are flexible to go on from one method to another method, from one process or to another process, from one experiment to another experiment. So we are trying to be more flexible in trying to keep on experimenting and trying to keep on sit with that the what we are trying to understand from this particular phenomena. We are just trying to be more flexible, not fixed. So we do not have a fixed attitude that this is the method, this is the approach, this only will have the probable cause, or this may always have the same solution. So we are not having a fixed mindset. We are always flexible in our thinking. We are always having a flexibility in our approaches, in the methods, in the processes. And then next, we have here positive approach to failure. Yes, even if our experiments fail, we again try, retry, and try. That is the positive approach. We always have a positive approach to failure. We do not get negative, we do not have critical thinking, but we do not criticize that the science always is a failure. We try to have a positive outlook, and we always try to see that if one thing fails, it is also a data. Yes, this experiment has failed, so it is recorded that if you do this in a step by manner, this is failure. If you do something else, again it is a kind of it may be a success. So we always have a positive approach, and then we do many experiments to it. Like for example, COVID-19 situation, we are trying to experiment different samples, and we are bringing out, the scientists are bringing out new kind of vaccines and different variety of vaccines and all that. Okay, then there's the inference. Yes, inference nothing but the conclusion. So we come out with a particular conclusion. We try to infer that from this processes something is happening, something is the resultant product or the byproduct. That is what the inference is. Okay, so this is the syntactic structure. Now moving further, we have here the good science education. So according to NCF National Curriculum Framework in 2005, they defined good science education as regarded as the one that is true to child, true to life, and true to science. So what does it mean? True to child means science taught should be meaningful, understandable to the child with reference to age, maturity level, and grade, enhancing child's curiosity in joyful learning. So true to child means the child is the center. The child is the center, and everything revolves around the child. What everything revolves around the child? What we teach to the child with respect to the child, child's age and the maturity level, that is the cognitive level of the child, and the grade level at which class the child is studying, at which level the child is studying, and then enhancing the child's curiosity in joyful learning. We are trying to enhance depending upon particular maturity level of the child by giving some activities so that the child enjoys learning. Next, it is true to life. Science teaching and learning should relate to the environment of the child, prepare her for the world of work, and promote the concerns for life and preservation of environment. Yes, it's one of the important things where the child should be able to relate what he's or she's learning to the environment and prepare the child to the world of work. What is the teachings in science, like what has been taught in science, can be applied to it to our social circumstances and can be solve our own day-to-day life situations and problems, and whether this can be applied in a particular different work related to work and some occupation, then it should promote concerns for life and preservation of environment. Yes, it's very important. Then third is true to science. Science teaching and learning should convey the substantive and syntactic processes of science content at appropriate level, leading the child to imbibe and validate scientific knowledge. So here it should be true to science. True to science means science is science. We are doing the we are just trying to make science as a substantive and syntactic structure, and until unless we make it our activities and our knowledge and our teaching and learning relating to the substantive and syntactic knowledge or the processes of science, we are not doing justice. So it's extremely important that we must have the teachings and learnings of science with respect to the substantive and syntactic processes of science, and it should be, again, whatever the activities that has been taught to the children should be according to the appropriate level, to their level, and then how the child can imbibe this knowledge and can validate the scientific knowledge should also be taught. So this is what is said with respect to the good science education. Next, we have different validities here in science curriculum. Here it has been said that whatever the science curriculum is, it must have 6 essential features. Those 6 essential features are nothing but they stand sound on the validities. It should be validated, and here are the 6 important validities. The first one here is the cognitive validity. Next is content validity. Third is process validity. Fourth is historical validity. Fifth, environmental validity. Sixth, ethical validity. Okay, so here we have the 6 different validity because this is the most essential aspect of any good science curriculum. So we'll see the first one, that is the cognitive validity, where it implies the transaction of the science content appropriate to age, maturity level, and grade. So here the science curriculum must be seeing to it that it is related to the cognitive level of the child. The curriculum must be again appropriate to the child's age, maturity level, and grade. Content validity says that the curriculum must convey valid, reliable, significant, and scientifically correct content. So here, the content, whatever we are studying in science, should be valid. It should not be invalid. It should not be wrong. It should be reliable. It should not be unreliable. It should be significant. It should not be insignificant. It should be scientifically, it should be having a correct content. Something wrong experiment, something wrong or invalidated knowledge should not be taught to the science, should not be taught to children in science. And the third is the process validity. It should develop in the pupils to validate the substantive and syntactic structure of science. So we are validating here the substantive and syntactic structure of science. So that is what is called as process validity. Can we prove? Can we do some experiments with respect to the substantive and syntactic structure of science? Fourth is a historical validity, which says that science is an evolution. It is an evolution of science is from ages and ages, and children must appreciate the dynamism of how new concepts are emerging and the body of knowledge of science is getting expanded. That is a historical validity. We should try to understand that how this laws has developed, how these concepts are coming from, where are the theories coming from, how this has become a generalization, how this has become a law, what is the basics of this law, what is the notion behind this law. So we are trying to validate the historical aspect of this knowledge and we are trying to appreciate it. We are trying to again further do some experiments upon that using those laws and concepts and theories. Fifth is the environmental validity, where it says that it states the science curriculum must be related to the child's local environment in solving the current issues. Yes, environmental validity, it says that how science curriculum uh, gets applicable in solving many issues which are currently being faced by the people. So can we solve the issues of pollution? Can we solve the issues of population? Can we solve the issues of the food which is being produced, like hybridizations? Okay, so can we solve such issues, and can we try to see to it how the scarcity of water can be reduced, and can we have a very good sustainable environment? So this is what is we are trying to do. And then sixth is the ethical validity. It attempts to promote scientific temper and concern for sustainable life and environment. Yes, so ethical validity is it has the capability of trying to promote the scientific temper and concern for the sustainable life and environment. Yes, so science curriculum must promote scientific temper and the values in children, where they are trying to respect nature, where they are trying to lead a sustainable life, and they are trying to also respect the life of other creatures. Okay, so this is what is the 6 features of science curriculum. And based upon this concept of today, let me just have few questions on it. Just 3 questions I'm having here. And the first question which has come up in the September 2016 CTET exam is the first one. This: the criterion of process validity of science curriculum requires that science should be presented as a value-free discipline, uninfluenced by societal concerns. Second option: science should be taught as a specialized discipline with its unique characteristics. Third, learners should be familiarized with various natural processes. Fourth, learners should be engaged in processes that lead to generation of scientific knowledge. So the option which is the best option among this for the question, that is the criterion of process validity of science curriculum requires. What does the science curriculum requires when it has a process validity? So science should be presented as a value-free discipline. No. Science should be taught as a specialized discipline. No, no such specialized discipline, but it is an integrated aspect of it. Third, learners should be familiarized with various natural processes. Not much, but the fourth one here is learners should be engaged in processes that lead to generation of scientific knowledge. Yes, so they are engaging, learners are engaging in doing some kind of a processes where they are generating scientific knowledge. So that is the right answer and the complete answer for the question. Second is identify the incorrect statement about the nature of science. So here the first option is speculation and conjecture also have a place in science, but ultimately a scientific theory to be acceptable must be verified by relevant observations and or experimentation. So speculation and conjecture have a place in science, but ultimately a science theory to be acceptable, yes, must be verified by observations and experimentations. That is correct. Second, science is considered as value neutral and objective, and the laws of science are viewed as fixed. Third, the methodology of science and its demarcation from other fields continue to be a matter of philosophical debate. Fourth, even the most established and universal laws of science are always regarded as provisional, subject to modification in light of new observations, experiments, and analysis. So here, which one is incorrect statement? We have to find out the incorrect statement, which is a not correct statement. So the first statement is to be set as correct. Second is like science is considered a value neutral and objective. Yes, it is objective and laws of science are viewed as fixed. Okay. Then third, methodology of science and its demarcation from other fields continue to be a debate, a philosophical debate. And fourth one, most established and universal laws of science are always regarded as provisional, subject to modification. Yes, even they are subjected to modification in light of new observations. We can again try to what we can say, we can again try to test and retest the universal laws. So here, which is the incorrect one, means the third one. So the methodology of science and its demarcation from other fields continue to be a matter of philosophical debate. So it is not being usually done. So it is not a usually a thing that is, it is not going to be like a demarcation from a different fields. It is a continue to be a philosophical debate. So it's not yet. So this one is the incorrect one. So the third option is the incorrect one. The rest all are mostly correct. And the last third one, good science education should be true to the child and implies that science should teach what relate to the environment of the child, convey significant aspects of science content. Third, to be understandable to the child. And fourth, engage the child in learning process skills. So as I just explained here, what should be true to the child, what implies that it should be true to the child, relate to the environment of the child, convey significant aspects of science content, understandable to the child, and fourth, engage the child in learning process skills. No, because here true to child means child is a center and everything revolves around the child. So the content of the science curriculum or the science education should be understandable to the child. So third is the right option here. Okay, so with this we have done with some options related to the today's concept of science, nature and structure of science. So let me just end up here. Okay, thank you so much for your concentration and your attention on this session. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. And you have given a exhaustive, elaborate, and relevant session. And not only that, you have brought in the relevant questions, particularly from the previous year's questions. So thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much. Looking forward for the other sessions.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. We will see you back in the live session tomorrow. Continuation.